Hello again, it's me, that guy with the YouTube channel. And now, before we get on with the review and all this, stuff and all the demonic possessions and killings and things, I want to get something straight with you. My name is a BioGoji, or 89, that is, not of the troller variety who trolls people on things like 4chan and places like that. I don't use that stuff, but you don't need to call me that. You can call me the last person on the goddamn face of the planet to get the Monster Arts GMK figure. So now that the somewhat abrupt intro is out of the way, let's take a look at the box. As you can see, I don't have the shipper box because it didn't come with a shipper box. But on the front we got all the logos and shit. There's a picture of the figure, which I gotta hold upside down because the crappy camera gets knocked apparently. There's a picture of the figure. There's the stupid Tamashii Nation's Web Fuck You Shop exclusive that apparently makes this thing worth $20 extra. There's the picture of the figure on the side. Looks delicious. Back, we got some pictures of the figure doing stuff. There's a dude playing with his Monster Arts figures. There's nothing on the bottom. I gotta keep my thumb over this sticker. Okay, that's been covered. Oh, and the top is very nice, but not as nice as the bottom. So for detail, as you can see, it's very nice. He's got the standard Godzilla texture over most parts of his body, with a few exceptions, such as on his chest, obviously, which it usually has a different pattern. In this case, it being a more crocodilian pattern. On his knees, which is more callousy looking, and also on his shoulders, which look somewhat callousy. And just like the 8-inch Bandai figure, there's a transition from the normal scale pattern. Let's try and focus on that. There we go. There's a transition from the normal scale pattern into the smooth side of his tail, which is very nice. As you can see on his feet, they look nice. The tops are very well sculpted. This is obviously a Monster Arts, and most of the time they are sculpted by Yuji Sakai, most famous for his work on the film Harry and the Hendersons, true story. And this figure is no exception with that. Sakai did a wonderful job with it. The toenails are alright painted. As you can see, there's paint missing and scuffed off. That was like that out of the box. On this foot, the toenails could be painted way better. As you can see, they're barely painted at all. And paint is missing. Web exclusive figure. Yeah, but the underside of his feet looks very nice. As you can see, it's probably one of the most detailed underside of a Godzilla figure's feet we've gotten in the Monster Arts line. His hands look nice as well. Standard. Got the Godzilla. Well, duh, the Godzilla spines. Duh! But you have his standard Godzilla spines, and they look nice. As you can see, this one here has the tips waving in different directions, and they all are kind of waving in different directions. It's kind of weird, but kind of cool, and they're obviously a lighter gray. The tail, the spines look nice on that, although there are some inconsistencies with the way the gray is put on. But overall, it doesn't look too bad. His eyes, well, first of all, we'll start with his head. His teeth, they could be painted a little better, but they are sculpted very nicely. As you can see, he's got these, well, for starters, they're all individually sculpted, and he's got these really nice, gnarly looking fangs. I think he has the biggest fangs out of any Godzilla in the Monster Arts line, so he looks really cool with those fangs. But the one problem I have with the paint job, well, it's not really sculpt, but it's his eyes. People say they look great with the flat gray of the plastic, and then it's dabbed on with a lighter gray, and then the white is painted in the middle, which gives him that kind of shadowy effect. It helps to convey the look in the movie, and I mean, when you're looking at him from a distance, you can't really tell that it's like that, but when you look close up, you can tell pretty obviously that it's obviously painted, and that's not how they were in the movie. In the movie, they were super pearlescent, all white eyes, and they were just being shadowed by his brow, which gave it this look. Also, I should point out that there's black highlights here and there, like along there, and on his leg, And there's also a kind of mahogany dry brushing over the figure. So overall, for detail, it's very nice, delicious. So for articulation, starting out with his jaw, it can open, but on mine it's kind of weird where it stops right about there once you open it, and you gotta like mess around with it a little more to get it to pop down all the way. But it can open up really wide, and it is a really big mouth in there, so you're okay with fitting a beam into this thing. I think he's compatible with just about every single beam in the Monster Arts line. Also, his tongue is supposed to be articulated, but look at this. I'm moving it up, and it just snaps back down. Like, it does not want to move up at all. What it does do is swivel side to side. Wonderful. That's perfect use of engineering there. He can look up using the 3 segments in his head, which, well, along his neck. Top one there's barbell joint, and I'm assuming the rest are barbell jointed, and he can look up really far. And I'm going to say this before we even finish the articulation. He corrects every single problem I had with Godzilla 2000's articulation. Kind of a spoiler for what I'm going to say at the end of the review. Shoulders are ball jointed. The left one moves further out than the right one. Seems to be a thing with everybody's Godzilla, that the left arm is generally looser and freer to move than the right arm. I don't know why. Anyways, biceps are ball jointed, which you don't get a whole lot of ball joint motion like on Godzilla 95. It just kind of swivels and wiggles around a little bit. Even on this arm, just kind of wiggles around a little bit. The elbows are double hinged. This one again is kind of stiffer than this one. And his hands are barbell ball jointed, so they can move around pretty decently. Not like Godzilla 2000 when you can get his hands completely back, but they're good. And a problem with every Godzilla. His left hand pops off easily. I don't know why all these problems are with this hand. And the ball joint looks overly lubricated, but it's not like a super big issue. It's only ever popped out on me when I was posing him once, so just watch it. Anyways, there's joints there which provide gaps. I would like to have seen the engineering on 2000 where you had the spines bridging up the gaps, but whatever. Just move it like that if you don't like it. It doesn't really bother me as much as I thought it would. Legs move out a decent amount. They're ball jointed. They can move up about that far, back about that far. Double hinge knees. It's actually, there's a swivel, a hinge, and a ball joint in the knees, so you get some good motion out of that. Ball joint in the feet, which you gotta kind of play around with because this is a free floating piece. Once you can get him down a good amount. And finally, his tail. They completely fixed the issue with Godzilla 2000. There's no soft plastic. I can shake it all I want, and it holds its pose. It's very nice. Although one thing that's kind of weird, due to its thinness, they kind of go like the NECA figures, where every 2 segments there's a ball joint, but it goes all the way up to about here, where it kind of likes to pop off on mine. Doesn't really bother me all that much. So yeah, articulation is very nice. So for sizing, first off, here he is with the S.H.monsterarts Godzilla 2000 special color version. As you can see, I'm getting 2000 to stand about as tall as he can, and Godzilla's GMK is almost a head taller, and he's not even standing up completely straight. If we do get him to stand up completely straight, see, he's almost out of frame. He's a pretty big Monster Arts figure. He's got a lot of bulk and size to him. As you can see, just comparing him, just mind the fact that he's out of frame. Comparing him to Godzilla 2000, he's pretty big. So yeah, that's that for Godzilla 2000. Next, here he is with the S.H.monsterarts Gamera 1996, because Shisuke Kaneko, yeah, I remember to do that gag. Next, here he is with oh, what's this? Next, here he is with the NECA 6-inch Godzilla 2014, which I know for a fact everybody has or has had this figure at one point. Like, No beating around the bush. Everyone, that's kind of it. This is like the most common Godzilla figure ever now. And here he is with S.H.monsterarts Godzilla 1995 Rebirth version, just to show you what he looks like next to a very common Monster Arts figure. Probably isn't very accurate, but it's just to show you what GMK looks like and to show you the sheer bulk and mass of this guy. And finally, for the final sizing, switching to crappy handheld camera style in a different set, here he is with the whole Bandai 8-inch set. So as you can see, here he is with King Ghidorah, Godzilla, Mothra, and Baragon. As you can see, he's not very small compared to them. Like, he's only a head shorter than the 8-inch Godzilla, GMK that is. He doesn't look too good with Mothra, and Baragon looks just alright, really out of scale. But Ghidorah, he doesn't look too bad next to the 8-inch Ghidorah. It's not accurate, but it looks manageable if you wanted to do a fan film with them or something. I don't know. So that's that for you. So for history of the figure and pricing, this figure was released just last month, and sadly he was a web exclusive, so he costs $20 extra than the usual Monster Arts price, which I kind of think that's stupid that they did that. Like they made the figure everyone is gonna want, a web exclusive, and then they made Godzilla 1954, a figure that basically nobody gives a shit about, a general release. That's Tamashii for you. But yeah, he was just released. He varies. I've seen him as low as like about $68 on some sites, and as high as what I paid. And the less I think about what I paid for this figure, the happier I feel. So I'm not gonna share with you what I paid for him. But yeah, and he's supposed to be getting released by Bluefin early this month, and they still haven't released him. And actually, that's kind of why I paid a lot for this, because you see, the Bluefin release kept getting delayed until it still hasn't been released, and it's August, and all the Japanese sites that had this, and everyone had bought him for the standard price. He was gone, and there was only one left, and he was at the price I paid. The thing is, it's probably better to still wait, because I know a lot of the sites that are selling the Bluefin release have him for as low as $68, so you should probably just wait and get the Bluefin release. But I'm done putting up with Bluefin. Like, that's it. Fuck Bluefin. That's kind of it. Anyways, that's going off on a side rant. The figure, I like him. He's really good. I would say, price and lack of accessories aside, he's probably right now, for now at least, until Godzilla 89 comes out, the definitive Monster Arts Godzilla. He's not the definitive GMK Godzilla everyone makes him out to be, but I would say he's probably one of the best Godzillas in the Monster Arts line. He doesn't have the limited tail articulation like Godzilla 95. He's not loose and can't look up like Godzilla 2000. He corrects basically every error I had with the other Godzillas, and he's certainly not undersized. But yeah, and for a rating, I'm gonna give him an 8.5 out of 10, just because of the paint issues and $80 fucking web exclusive. Yeah, so overall, that's an 8.5 out of 10. As I always say, Shimama Jamo, it means I accidentally ate the whole thing.